Hey everybody, today I'm here to show you how to install a Mattermost and how to set up very secure with HTTPS enabled. Let's get started. If you are coming first time to this channel, I am Saran, running a company called GoGoSoon. We develop apps and websites for our clients across different countries. For installing a Mattermost and securing it, you need to follow 5 different tutorials like installing Nginx, installing Mattermost, getting an SSL certificate, and in setting up a MySQL and setting up all these connections. So you're going to be wasting a lot of time on the internet. So I have simplified all those 5 different tutorials into a single documentation, and I have also published in a GitHub. So go and check it out. So this is my GitHub. If you see, I have combined all the 5 different tutorials here, and I have also mentioned the source in which you can find out the original articles where I referred all these commands from. For this, we need to install MySQL, Nginx, and certbot. So let us get started one by one. Before we getting started, we actually need a server to install the Mattermost and a domain which is pointing to the server so that we can set up a SSL certificate for you. So for a server, I'm going to use my AWS. So you can see it in my screen. So now I have just logged on to my AWS, and for the domain, I'm going to use my personal domain called saran.info. So if you don't have a domain, so you can still install a Mattermost, but you won't get a SSL certificate at all. So now for creating an instance, I'm clicking on the EC2. Now it is taking me to this page and I'm clicking on the instance. So I already have 2 instances that is separate and running up. So I'm clicking on the launch instance. Now I'm going to name this as an Mattermost. And I'm going to select Ubuntu. So this is my preferred OS. So I'm going to choose with the Ubuntu. And if you look at the Mattermost docs carefully, so they say for having 1000 users, they are recommending to have 4 GB of RAM. So for now, testing purpose, I'm going to go with the 2 GB instance. So I'm selecting t2.small, so which has a 2 gigabytes of RAM. So I've selected the t2.small. And now for key pair, I'm going to use my old key pair, that's for sure. And then in the network settings, I'm going to allow HTTPS traffic and HTTP traffic anywhere from the internet. So that's fine. And for storage, AWS is providing 30 GB of free storage. So I'm going to use it for fully. So I'm going to change it to 30 GB. So yeah, that's it, pretty much everything. So, and then I'm clicking on the launch instance. So yeah, now we got our instance ready. So let's click on the view instance. Now it says pending. So I think it's still creating. I think here it is. Yeah. So if I click, it's coming up. Okay, I got an IP address. And so before we actually getting started, if you look at the Mattermost docs very closely, they will first install the Mattermost on the port number something called an 8065. So that is the Mattermost default port. So to test this, first let us enable 8065 port, and then at the last, we will disable it from public access. So to enable the 8065 port in AWS, all that you have to do is you have to modify your security groups. In order to modify your security groups, you just have to click on the security. Now you can see 80, 22 and 443. So anywhere from the IPv4 we can access our instance. So I'm clicking on the security group and it is taking me to the security group. I am editing inbound rules, adding a new rule. I'm going to allow a new custom TCP port, and I'm typing the port number is 8065 and source is from anywhere IPv4, and I'm clicking on the save rules. So all that it is going to do is it is going to allow 8065 from anywhere from the internet. So let us see. Now I'm going back to the instance. So now you can see my instance is up and running. So let us get started. I am going to right click and I'm clicking on the connect. So I prefer via SSH client. So I'm using this SSH. So guys, if you are not comfortable with the SSH, or if you don't know what is the SSH, all that you can go is you can go to this EC2 instance connect and you can click on this connect. So it is going to open an SSH window on the browser. So I'm preferring SSH. So I'm copying the command to copy. Now I'm opening the terminal and I'm going to my key location and I'm pasting the command. So for the first time it is asking me yes or no question. So I'm allowing with a yes. So I have allowed the command with an yes. I have cleared just this is just an empty server. So now let us go to our docs. Okay. So I will attach the docs link in the description of this video. So this is our docs. So first of all, what we need to do is, as of I'm writing the documentation. So today I wrote the documentation. So now the latest version is 7.7.1. So all that I'm recommending is go and click on this URL. Okay. So it's going to take you to here and select this binary tab. Okay. You will see the link latest one. So 7.7.1. Okay. So I have used the 7.7.1 here. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy and I'm going to paste it over here and I'm going to hit an enter. So it will download the Mattermost, and if you see, it will extract the archive and it will move the Mattermost directly to the OPT, and then it will create a data directory, and then it will create a Mattermost group, and then it will give the permissions over here. Okay. So let us see. Oh no, I think it just okay. So let us verify this one. So I'm going to OPT and I'm typing LL. So it says, yeah, I have executed. I think it executed every commands. So now the second step is I have to install an MySQL. So I'm going to use MySQL within my same server. So if you are preferring to go with an RDS, you can go. So if you are going with an RDS, do not do this step. So I just thought like we are going to install the same MySQL in the same server. So let us go in the direction. I'm going to copy this command, pasting it over here. So all that it is going to do is it is just going to install MySQL server and it is going to start up the server. It's asking me a permission. I'm typing yes. Okay, so now my MySQL has been installed. So the next step is by default MySQL comes with a native password, which means like you don't actually have a password. It will authenticate via socket. So all that we are going to do is we are going to create a password for the root user so that our Mattermost instance will connect to our MySQL. So now let us use this command. So this command you have to enter very separately because this is a MySQL command. So I'm copying the MySQL and I'm pasting it. Now I got into the MySQL shell. So what this command says is we are going to create a password called password. So for now, right, for tutorial purpose, I'm going to just leave it as a password. So you just need to replace the password with some kind of complex string so that nobody can guess it. Okay. And you have to keep the password backup. I'm going to copy this command. And for now, I'm going to leave as it is. Okay. So the command executed successfully and then I can exit from the MySQL shell. Okay. So that's it. Now we have password. So in order to test this, actually it is working or not, right? So all that I can do is I can type MySQL -u and the username here and -p. So now it is asking me for a password. So I'm typing the password. Wow, I got it. So now whatever the password that we set up, it is actually working. So we can close this one. This is a command which actually if you want in a production, so to secure a MySQL, by default, right, since we are installing inside the EC2 and we are not allowing 3306 to enable outside, so necessarily we don't require, so only our Mattermost is going to communicate with the MySQL. Anyway, so if you want to have a strong password and all the policies, right, so you can go with a secure installation. For this tutorial purpose, I'm going to skip this one. The next step is we are going to configure our Mattermost to connect with our local MySQL instance that we installed right now. So for this one, right, I'm going to open a Mattermost configuration. I have opened this one. So here, if you look at here, right, so we have to find out where this driver name and the driver data, the data source is actually. So all that I'm going to here is I'm copying this one and this is a nano editor. So if you guys are familiar with Linux, you would have already known it. And so if you guys are not familiar with a nano editor, so it is more like a text editor within a command line. Okay, so I have to find a driver name. So for finding a driver name, right, I can press Ctrl W. So here you can see if Ctrl W means where is. So we are going to find the text. So I'm pressing Ctrl W and I'm pasting this one. So for pasting, you should press Ctrl Shift V, and yeah, it's got there. So by default, right, Mattermost has a configuration with PostgreSQL. So I'm not comfortable with the PostgreSQL, and also like what you can say, MySQL provides some more additional functionality. All the development I use with the MySQL. So I'm going to replace Postgres to the MySQL. So so here if you see, I have wrote it down in the MySQL, and I'm pasting it over here. So, and the next step is I'm going to remove this long string. So just a few tips, guys, like if you guys are new, so sometimes you miss this double quotes. So just ensure whatever that you are pasting should be in the double quotes. So for the reference, right, I have given you the exact string that needs to be there. So here you just have one thing in mind. So instead of password, right, you need to replace with what are the password that you have set it up with the MySQL. So remember, with this command we have set it up. So for the tutorial purpose, I'm leaving it as it is a password. So if you guys has changed it, please update it here. Okay. So I have copied it and I'm going to paste it. So now I'm saving this one. Okay. So I got saved. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, since if you notice down here, so I have mentioned the database to use, the DB name is also going to be the Mattermost. So I need to create the database first. Then only Mattermost can use the database to create the tables and store all our messages and etc. So for creating a database, right, I'm going to log into the MySQL shell back. So I copied this command and I'm putting MySQL. So it's asking me for a password. So I have logged on to the MySQL. Now I have to execute this SQL. So I'm entering with the create database Mattermost. Wow. So it created. So to cross check, I'm going to type show databases. So you can see I have created a Mattermost DB. So this is an empty DB, so which Mattermost will obviously install all the necessary things up. So I'm going to exit. So now test if the Mattermost is working. So I'm going to copy this command and I'm going to paste it over here. Yeah. So now you can see it is pinging SQL, database master, server is initializing. So we will wait for a few seconds. So when the server starts, right, it will show some log information like it's listening on 8065. So obviously if you can see on the browser, right, you can hit like what you can say 8065. So this one you have to hit with your IP address. So for finding my IP address, I'm going to the EC2 and I'm closing this one. So this is my instance and this is my IP address. So I'm typing my IP address and I'm putting 8065 in the Mattermost port. So still I think the server has not started. Yeah, so now it is listening on 8065. So now I'm refreshing. Wow, we got our Mattermost up and running. So I can go with the view in browser. So this is the first time it is asking me for all the admin details. So here you can provide your email address and the username, password, and you can create an account. So this one, if you guys note it down, so you can see this is an unsecure symbol. So what this unsecure symbol does is, so our request is plainly communicating with an HTTP. So we want to secure with the HTTPS. All that we have to do is we need to install a Nginx and then we need to configure a reverse proxy to enable HTTPS with our server. So guys, at this point, if you are fine with HTTP, you can just simply end the step here and you can go and try out the Mattermost and like what is, you can create a team and you can like chat with the others. But the only thing is whenever it communicates with your server, right, it is communicating in plain traffic so that anybody in an intermediate, right, like your internet service provider or what are the Wi-Fi other people connected on the Wi-Fi, right, they can be able to see what is the message actually you're sending. So in order to prevent that, you have to have an HTTP certificate. So that's what we are going to see now. So let us go to our documentation back. So yeah, so now test Mattermost is working. Of course, it's Mattermost is working. So now I'm going to press Ctrl C. So as soon as I press the Ctrl C, right, if I'm going here and if I'm refreshing, so you can see my server has stopped here. What it tells is it is actually running in a foreground. It is not running in a background, right? So you need to set up a Mattermost which it can run in a background. So for setting up a Mattermost to running in a background, and let's say if for some reason, right, our server may restart or like what you can say reboot. So you have to, like what you can say, start this Mattermost at the very beginning, right? So you can copy this command, and you can open the nano editor. So it is opening the nano editor. All that I have to do is I have to copy paste this service command. Okay, I'm copying and I'm pasting with Ctrl Shift V. So and then I'm saving here. Now what? So I need to execute these following commands. So for the first time, right, it is going to check what is the current status. So it is inactive. So this is what the status command says, and I'm going to start the Mattermost service, and I'm going to enable the Mattermost service to set up and running whenever the system reboots or whatever the reason it may be. Okay, so now if I go here, right, if I refresh, still the port 8065 is actively running. So this represents our Mattermost is now fully set up. So only thing right now we need to do is we need to configure an HTTPS over here. So now for configuring HTTPS, so we have to install Nginx. So I'm copy pasting this command and I'm going to install an Nginx. So I'm pressing yes. So what this says is I'm going to install Nginx and certbot and Python certbot Nginx. So what this certbot means is, so it is a certificate utility provider. It is very easy for us to get a Let's Encrypt certificate. So we don't have to pay anything at all. So this software will take care of setting up all our SSL certificate for free. So it's asking me yes, I given up. Okay, so now that I have installed the Nginx, to test this one, right, all I have to do is I'm copying this IP and I'm pasting just this IP. Okay, now you can see, so by default this will be accessed in a port number 80. So you can see the Nginx is installed here. So this represents until this step we are confident, so it's working correct. Now we have to create a reverse proxy. So all that I have to do is I'm going to copy this command, pasting it. It's going to open a nano editor, and I'm going to copy. So here is what like we have to ensure. So replace mattermost.example with your domain/subdomain. Okay, so in this example documentation, right, I have given like mattermost.example.com. So you have to replace it with your server with your domain name. Okay, so I'm going to my domain and I'm going to create a new DNS record. Okay, so this one I'm going to create a record which is going to point to my new server. Going to the instance, copying the IP. For this one I'm going to, for a short name, right, I'm going to call it as an m.saran.info. So m represents message. So I'm going to paste the IP and I don't need a proxy. I have turned it off. I'm going to save this. So now that I have created this one, so to quickly check this, right, so if you type m.saran.info, so it's going to take you to the Nginx page. So still we have not configured the reverse proxy, so it's still coming up in the Nginx page. So I have opened and now I'm going back to the documentation. So I am copying here, so pasting it over here. So instead of mattermost.example.com, I'm going to type m.saran.info. I'm pressing Ctrl X and I've saved it. So that's the first step. Then I have to link this from sites available to the sites enabled. So what this tells is I have this configuration and I want to enable this configuration to the Nginx software. Okay, so I'm copy pasting these two commands. I'm pasting it. So now it says, okay, this configuration syntax is okay. The test has executed successfully. Okay. So without any errors. So that's what I have mentioned. So you should not have any errors. So now let us restart our Nginx server. Okay. I have restarted the Nginx server. Now here also, right, I have to replace the domain. So what this step does is it is going to request an SSL certificate. Okay. So this is where all our magic begins. So this is where we will get a SSL certificate and we get HTTPS with our domain. And I'm going to type m.surrender.info. So it's asking me for an email address. I'm going to give my email address. Okay. And yes, I have agreed to the terms and conditions. Sorry, no, here. So it is requesting me a certificate. So let us wait some time. Wow. So now our SSL certificate is also up and running. Now you can see once a certificate is installed, delete the configuration. So why I am saying to delete the configuration is because Mattermost requires some advanced configuration. So if you notice down this configuration file, right, you could see and they have enabled HTTP2 push and like what you can say SSL and lot of other stuffs here. Okay. If you put up all this configuration at the first, right, you won't get an SSL certificate. So I'm not saying like you won't get SSL certificate. It will be very tricky for you to understand and you have to update from port number 80 to 443 and then go back and forth. So all those steps I'm just avoided. So you have to copy this and you have to paste it over here. Okay. So I'm deleting. So this involves two commands. I'm going to delete the Mattermost file and I'm reopening with the nano editor. Okay. So now I got a fresh nano file. So now this is the configuration file. So here also I have to replace mattermost.example.com. So here if you notice down, I have in 4 different places. So one is here and the second one is here and 3 and 4. So I have to replace in 4 different places. So for replacing these 4 different places, right, I'm going to copy and I'm going to my text editor. So I just pasted here. I'm going to replace. So most probably all the text editor will have something called as a Control H as a shortcut. So mattermost.example to m.surrender.info and I'm going to hit replace all. Okay. Yeah. So now you can see my m.surrender.info has replaced everywhere. So now I'm copying this new updated configuration and I'm going back to my command and I'm pasting it here and I'm Control X and I'm saving this configuration file. Okay. So this is a very, very important step, guys. So if you missed something here, so it will be very, very difficult. Now I'm again going to test my Nginx. Okay. Wow. So it has like still one warning. That's fine. So now the syntax is okay and the test is also successful. Now I'm going to reload my Nginx. Now if I go here and if I'm type reloading this page m.surrender.info, you could see, yeah, so we got the secure symbol locked. So we got a HTTP certificate here. So it is asking me whether to view in this browser, like hitting on the view in the browser. That's it, guys. I hope you like this installation. I have also made a detailed video about comparing Slack versus Mattermost. So if you have a time, please go and check out that video also. If you feel this process is too complicated and if you want me to install a Mattermost for you, check out my Fiverr gig. I have attached a link in this description. So all that you have to do is go and order a Fiverr. I can personally set up a Mattermost instance and maintain for your company. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up to make a YouTube algorithm happy. And for more such insightful, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.